Today is all about process, which means I picked out a whole bunch of colors, beautiful colors, and then decided to start with absolutely none of them. Process art is often talked about in terms of children, and you give them a select number of supplies and you just let them play with it. You let them dig into the tactile, discovery, creation, curiosity, all of those good things. And one thing I think we need to return to as adults is just making to make, because it's fun and beautiful, and it activates parts of our brain that just really want to be awake and engaged and alive and happy. I'm using this block that's primed as my palette. It will become an art piece of its own in a while. I'll tell you more about it. But for now, it's just a little splooshy thing. You know, I'm getting some layers on and using it as a place to hold my paint so that I can work on this little other canvas. This canvas is pure playground. I have no end goal for it. I simply want to cover it up, play with it, see how the colors mix, see what textures I can get. And this layer is actually my favorite stage that it was in. The little yellow lines are quite fun. Deciding to dab away the paint on my square was actually the best choice I made all day. Okay, not all day, but at this desk it was a great choice because it started me off with a lot of texture and it created a really interesting base that could be built upon. It's funny that I put way more thought into the palette, quote unquote, than I did into the actual painting. These dots are just for funsies. There is no purpose to them. It's just fun to see how shapes fit together and see what tones of green and blue I can get. And this is about where I lost interest in the actual painting and started realizing that I could make things work with this little block. This little block is destined to be part of an art piece, a collaborative art piece at my church for the Stations of the Cross. And so I had a verse written on it at the beginning. You saw all those scribbles in pencil. And I'm not trying to theme it too intensely, but just keeping it loose as I think about the verses that it connects with and the ideas and the movement and the energy and the emotion and the story and just running out of breath, all the things. But for right now, I just want to see what texture I can get. What sort of prints can I make off of this really basic shape that's been layered up? These little prints look like landscapes and they look like something that I can use later. So they did double duty for me. They helped me dab off the extra paint and maybe I can use them later. Oh gosh, here it comes. So that happened. And now that paint is going in the trash. Thankfully, I do have more white. Or maybe not thankfully, because adding white... Oh gosh. Adding white to this painting was the worst thing I did all day. I like to experiment with layering, and it works on those little round wood pieces that I use as palettes, but it did not work for this canvas, this cheap canvas. It was kind of a nightmare. So I gave up on the little canvas, RIP canvas, and decided to add some neon pink to the block that I was using. The orange is not my favorite tone, and so what I love about this neon pink is that it acts as a glaze layer, and it has a lovely way of transforming colors when you layer it over top. So if you're looking for a really bright pink, you might actually be disappointed in this paint because if you spread it out at all, it kind of fades. But what it's doing instead right here is that it's making my painting dynamic but not actually neon pink, which is definitely what I was going for. While I dabbed away at this palette, which I also consider to be a painting of its own, I was thinking, how do I resurrect this poor thing here? And of course, to resurrect it, I just messed it up even more, but in a fun way. Was this a total waste of paint? Yes, and actually no. And yes, and you just gotta hear the laugh. That, my friends, is why I know that I'm doing art the right way. At least for me. And it means that I'm having fun with my work and not treating it too seriously. So yes, goodbye little painting, hello block that actually worked out, and the paint palette, and these prints, and just I ended up with things that I really enjoy and like, and some things that I didn't, and that's just how it goes. The culture I want to encourage in my family is a culture that accepts mess. We have messiness in our feelings, in our spaces, in our work, in everything we do. In order to make good food, we've got to make messes, right? In order to make fun art, we have to make messes as well. And it's joyful and wonderful. And we clean it up not because we feel so bad about making the mess in the first place, but because we want to make space for new opportunities. I hope you make some really fun messes this week. Drop a comment to let me know if you want to see the future of this little art block, or if you want to see how I turn my palettes into art pieces of their own.